The subject of this video is the obvious blatant contradictions in the statistics put out by various departments of government or agencies of government. This has been going on for quite some time now, but the recent contradictions cannot just be allowed to pass without comment. Such is the nature of those contradictions. On September 1st, the Chief Economic Advisor's Office bumped up the GDP growth rate to an astounding 7.8%. All the indices that go to make up this figure showed a slowing down of the economy. Remember, we are talking about Q1, quarter 1, that is April, May, June. All the indices showed a slowing down of the economy. The index of industrial production showed a slowdown. Steel consumption showed a drastic slowdown. Private and commercial vehicle sales showed a slowdown. Two-wheeler sales showed a slowdown. Core and consumer sectors showed a slowdown. And here you are, still the brightest of bright figures, 7.8%. And the irony of it is that the Reserve Bank of India, that bastion of statistical rectitude, had just a few days before this come out with a figure of 6.5%. So within a few days you have the Reserve Bank of India saying 6.5% GDP growth for Q1, and after just a few days the Chief Economic Advisor's Office, Chief Economic Advisor's whole shall we say secretariat, came out with a figure of 7.8%. No way could that figure be believed. So one has to come to some kind of a conclusion, which is not a very comforting conclusion, and that is that these statistics are all prepared and put out in a very cavalier manner. I refer to the statistics of inflation figures that came out just a few days ago. The September 2025 retail inflation data, September 2025, retail inflation data shows a 99-month low of 1.54%. Okay. That is September 2025, September 2024, like that. You go on 23 and so on. It is a low, or it shows a low of 1.54%. But just in April, just a few months ago, RBI had made a big pronouncement that they would strive their best to see that inflation would be brought down at least to 4%, just about the upper band prescribed for them or allowed for them. Now, if that is so, that they were doing all that and so on, it couldn't be that you all along had an inflation rate of around 1.54%. So this contradiction between the huge effort they said they would make in even keeping to the 4% level, which meant that things were on the higher side, that inflation was on the higher side. They would do everything they could to keep it at 4%. There you are. it was only 1.4% in September. So all this, calls into question the manner in which the statistical procedures and estimation procedures in the RBI are done. And that's very unfortunate because inflation targeting is the core function of the Reserve Bank of India. And that's the core function in for many central banks of the world. And no targeting can be made without proper statistical prediction based on good data, good analysis, and a system of analysis, statistical analysis of proper predictions. After all, this is an important branch of mathematics. Statistical analysis and statistics is a subset of mathematics. So this has got to be taken seriously because a flawed process of estimation, a flawed process of statistics means that the very basis of monetary policy or economic policy is flawed. In that case, the conclusion would be logically that if the basis is flawed, the policy also gets flawed. So it has serious consequences for the making of monetary policy and the making of economic policy. It is with that kind of seriousness that this subject of contradictions should be viewed by any citizen. And that's why I draw attention to the viewers of this channel to this continuing contradictions and the cavalier manner in which all these figures are put out.